There are many different reasons on why you would want to work with Excel's Power Pivot tool. What I'm going to show off here over the next couple of videos is going to tie into pivot tables, a topic that we just got done talking about. And the reason why I'm going to approach this here is because this is a very common question that I get asked from users of Microsoft Excel. So let me set this up and really give you a reason why Power Pivot. Okay? And then over the next couple of videos, we'll implement this. We'll see it in practice here. So sit back, relax. You can take a look at my screen. I've still got the example file that we have been working in. This is the Excel 102 exercises. And specifically, we're going to be looking at the customer info and the order info worksheets. Okay? So customer info here, you can see it's really just a list. Got column headers along the top. Customer ID, company name, contact title, address, city, and so on. And if I move over to the order info tab, we've got information specific about orders from those customers. As you can see, I got an order ID, I got a customer ID, and that's very important. We'll talk about why here in a moment. And we've got the employee that took the order, we've got the dates, we got the shipping method, and we have the cost for freight. Again, all specific to the order. The customer ID, this guy right here, actually ties back to the customer info worksheet. We can see we got the customer ID here as well. Now that's very important, and that's going to be one of the powerful tools that's built into Power Pivot that's going to allow us to connect these two worksheets and report off of the combination of the data between these two worksheets. Now that's really the question that I get asked a lot. Here's the setup. So, hey, I've got two worksheets and they can both contain lists, and I need to build a report off of that. I want to create a pivot table that gives me information from both of these worksheets. Okay? Well, initially my first question is, well, give me a little bit more information about those two worksheets, right? Are the two worksheets, are they the same? Are they, for example, are they both customer info worksheets? Maybe I've got customer info worksheet A that contains 100 records about these customers. And then I got customer info worksheet B that contains customer information just like A, but it has different customers on it. So I really just want to take those two worksheets and append them together, right? Just make one master list out of these two lists. That's one scenario. The second scenario is I got two worksheets, right? Customer info. The second one is order info, and I want to be able to connect them. I want to be able to see customer information, but then I want to see the orders that are related to that customer, right? So for example, on my customer info worksheet, I've got row number 2, this customer right here, who has customer ID of 𝗙𝗏𝗊𝗏, 𝗚𝗏𝗊𝗏𝗏, right? And then right below that, I've got 𝗏𝑛𝑎𝑡𝑟, 𝗏𝑛𝑡𝑜𝑛, 𝗏𝑟𝑜𝑢𝑡, and so on, right? Individual customers. When I go to the order info worksheet, remember that customer ID? I've got the customer ID right there, and I can see that these first handful, what is that, 6 records there, are all connected or related to that first customer, 𝗙𝗏𝗊𝗏, 𝗏𝗏𝗊𝗏𝗏, right? So I want to be able to create a list that gives me both that information, the customer info and the orders that that customer placed. This is where Excel Power Pivot comes into play. Once we make that connection through Power Pivot, we can then create pivot tables based off of the combination of these two worksheets. Okay? Watch this. So if I go to my customer info worksheet, I'm just going to click into the list. Now I'm going to create a pivot table here. I just click into my list. I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to go to Pivot Table. We saw this earlier. All right, select my range. So my table is currently called Table 1. I should really rename that. I'm going to cancel out of here for a moment. If I click into my list, I go to my Table Design tab. Let's make sure we name that appropriately. So I'm going to call this Customer Info. And you can do this. Now, you download the same exercise file that I got. If you just quickly click into the table, go to Table Design, And let's make sure that the table name is customer info. No space. Won't allow the space in the table name. I'll hit my enter key. All right, I'm going to do the same for my order info. It's just make sure, and it looks like it's already called the order info. We're golden right there. We're good. All right, so if I go back to customer info, I'm going to click into my table, insert pivot table. All right, select table or range. It's grabbing my customer info. There's the name. It's got my customer info table. I'm going to put it on a new worksheet. Great. All right, so here's the beginnings of my pivot table. But if we look into our field list, we're only looking at information about the customer info. I want to include order info into this mix, right? Because I want to be able to see customer 𝗙𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗍, that number one customer, right? And I want to see the 6 orders that customer placed. Both bits of information, and I want to report off that information. But my pivot table's currently only giving me information about the customer itself. Now, I do have the option here for more tables. If I give that a click, oh, what's this? Do you want to create a new pivot table? Well, no, I don't want to create a new pivot table. To use multiple tables in your analysis, so in your pivot table, a new pivot table needs to be created using the data model. Now, a data model is part of PowerPivot. So in order for me to do this, in order for me to get multiple tables into my data set, I've got to create a data model, and then I base the pivot table off that data model. So, all right, it's getting exciting, right? We have the possibility to take 2 different worksheets, connect them, relate them to one another through a common field, such as customer ID, create a data model in PowerPivot, and then create a pivot table based off of that data model. All right, so got a little bit of why and what PowerPivot's going to do for us, but let's take a look at how you can activate it and then how you can go through the steps of creating this pivot table based off the data model inside of PowerPivot. So I'm going to say no, I don't want to do that right now. I'm going to right click my new little sheet down there. I'm going to delete it. Let's get rid of that pivot table. Blah. Right? We want the data model to connect the two and then create the pivot table. So let's jump into the next video and see how you can activate the PowerPivot tool.